What's going on, guys? I'm Joe Farewell with Tactical Hyve, and welcome back to another edition of Sport Shooting Sundays. Today, we're looking on how to get out of a start position. So there's three different ways that I see most shooting stages start, and that's either in the middle of a field course where you can start anywhere, either toes on marks or heels on marks. And we're gonna look at the toes and heels on marks and kind of break down some of the errors that I see as far as people getting started off at these positions and ways that you can do it a little bit more efficiently. The first thing we want to look at is where are we headed from that start position? If I'm running straight forward and I've got my toes or heels on mark, this is kind of interchangeable, so it's not too relevant on which one you're starting with, but basically we're going straight forward, which means we're not able to load up very effectively. What I want to do here is a simple drop step. And I'm sure you guys have seen drop steps in some of the other movement videos that we've done, but here's what we're looking for as far as the actual start of a position or a stage that we're gonna be working out of a very static position here. I'm not able to load up, I'm not able to gain any advantage here because I'm going straight forward and I've got my toes or heels on marks. So the drop step that I wanna do is at the same time, moving my hand to my gun and getting out of this position here. And it's a very simple drill that you can work on at home in dry fire. But basically all we're doing is we're lifting both feet off the ground at the same time while we're putting our hand on the gun. And I really want to get my hand on my gun as soon as possible. What that looks like as a whole is this right here. If I'm starting here, I'm going to have my hands relaxed at sides. And I'm going to get my hand moving immediately on the beep while also lifting both feet and pushing off with my rear foot to launch me forward. So the whole point of that is to get our knees bent and our weight loaded so we can get an aggressive movement and explode out of that position. One of the common issues I see with people doing that is they take too long to get their hand on the gun, and then they're doing a step forward or a drop step, and then they're trying to find their gun on the move, which is doable, but it's not as efficient as it is to simply get your hand to the gun right away and then start the draw stroke process as we're covering ground. Now the next option, which is a more preferred way, is if we're going off at an angle one way or another. Now with an angle to start, we can have our toes touching the marks and we can start to load up whichever direction we're going. So if I'm going to be moving this direction off of this line, I'm going to go ahead and load up the rear leg. I want to put all my weight on that rear leg because I really want to explode out of this position. That being said, I'm still working to get my hand to the gun as soon as possible. So what that looks like is I'm here, I've got all my weight loaded up on my left leg. As soon as I get that beep, get my hand to my gun and I'm pushing out. I don't need to do a drop step here because I've already got the angle that I want to get here. I've already got my weight loaded up and I'm able to immediately start moving. Going the other direction now, if I sit up on this side, this is my preferred way, by the way, is I will load up all my weight on my right leg, which I can then get out of this position that much sooner. And I can keep my right foot static just briefly, which gives me a completely static position to reach and grab my gun. So what that looks like is I'm loaded up here, toes on the marks, load up all my weight on my right leg. My left foot is almost floating. It's not floating actually, but it's almost like very lightweight because I want to throw that left leg out and gain some ground right off the bat. So I'm loaded up here. As soon as I get that beep, I'm pushing out. So there's a couple of different ways that you can attack the start of a stage and get that aggressive movement right off the bat. Let's go ahead and watch some footage of how we're applying that to a shooting position. All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and run through each one of these drills. As far as the start position goes, the first we're gonna run is where I've got toes on marks and I'm running straight forward. My goal is to get around that barrel and pick up the two targets as quickly as possible. Let's go ahead and run through this. Stand by. So now all I'm gonna do is go ahead and rotate this stick. So now I'm launching, like we talked about, off of my left leg. And I wanna load up all my weight there, but I wanna make sure I get my hand to my gun as soon as that beep goes off. Stand by. All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and set this up for the third option, which is essentially moving stage left here. I'm gonna be pushing off with my right leg, which means I wanna really load up on that right leg. I wanna keep my left foot kind of lightweight so I can throw that out there and gain some ground. And I wanna get my hand to my gun as quickly as possible. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like on the clock. Stand by. All right, so that's gonna walk you through all three of the techniques as far as how to launch from a static position, whether you're starting toes touching or heels touching, if you're going forward, off to the right, or off to the left. That will hopefully help you get that explosive movement right from the start and make sure you're able to crush those stage times. Until next time, I'm Joe Fairwell, and I'll see you on the range.